Scott Narver, it's an exciting time of the year.
Jake Lloyd Bacon, what's happening?
It's the long-running annual Palski Awards.
Wow, that's so exciting. Am I nominated?
For the Breakout Host of the Year.
This is amazing. Wait, Breakout?
Yeah.
I've been hosting the show for a long time.
Yeah, but this is the first year that it's been any good.
Oh.
The 2025 Slammies and much more today on Pro Wrestling Palskis. Hey, Scott Narver.
Hey, Jake Lloyd Bacon.
Hello to everybody out there joining us for the PWP. This is Pro Wrestling Palskis, the only podcast about wrestling that's ever existed, and also the most interactive one.
Yep.
Which is weird to have a most of something that's the only of something.
Right. It's also weird to have one true statement about your show and one completely false statement. So when people are listening going, wait a minute, one of those isn't true.
How is it interactive? Well, we live stream it exclusively for patrons over at patreon.com/PWPalskis. Thanks to those joining us for the super exclusive patron-only live stream, both in real time and in the future.
Yeah.
Because that is available just forever on the Patreon. So even if you don't catch it live, you could just watch it back.
Only podcast to archive their episodes.
That's true.
Everybody else is like Inspector Gadget, where this podcast is going to self-destruct in 5 seconds. Crumble, throw away to the chief, and then the chief gets burnt.
We must acknowledge our current PWP champ, Masked Llama, champ for the month of March. He will defend his title next week in the Championship Palski Battle Royal. All you got to do to get into that Battle Royal, become a patron. It's as simple as that.
It's money.
Just money. And actually,
when you
can
think
cheat
the world
with more
works
money.
on bribes?
No.
Technically, it does, because you have to give money in order to get in.
And the more money you pay, the more entries. So it's literally just it's an oligarchy we're creating. It's an
a la carte creation. That's right.
That's what oligarchy stands for. It just means that you can order your government a little piece at a time individually.
Yeah.
Scott Narver, how are your eyes doing, bud?
Not great.
Not great?
Not great. So currently, I have no electronic devices. I can see myself on the screen every so often.
From a
when
distance?
Every so often
You're
I
not
get a little...
supposed to. You should stop looking at it.
I'm not supposed to.
It's hard not to because it's a big screen in front of me over. Yeah, I could imagine it's tough to not look.
So I didn't put together the news. I didn't do anything electronically because doctor's order said I'm not supposed to. But I did do one thing that I thought would help the show in some way.
What's that?
Because doctor's order says stay away from close-up screens, so no computer monitors, no phones. So I went to a wrestling show.
You went to an IRL show?
Yeah, IRL.
And how did your eyes survive that?
They're fine because I sat up in the balcony.
Ooh, that's fun.
And also I didn't look at the screens. I mean, those screens I can find, like projected screens where they're showing the show.
What show did you do? Tim Redbeard in the chat says hello. Hi, Tim.
Hello, Tim. I watched Only Wrestlers.
Is that the name of the show?
Only Wrestlers. That is the name of the show, but I think the company is it's OWA.
Only Wrestling Association. Only Wrestling Alliance.
Something like that. So the idea, because I went with Mark Rosecca, Johnny LaQuasta was doing commentary. He was nice enough to hook up some comp tickets.
Could you hear him from your seats, or is it only for the broadcast version?
I'm sure if I sat closer to him,
right,
I totally would.
Well, yeah, sure. His voice carries. He's good at his job. Yeah, he plays to the back row.
We will get to a story where he was exceptional at his job.
Okay,
this night. So I went and Rosecca and I sat up in the balcony because we wanted to do a little Statler and Waldorf action.
Sure.
Where we could just sit back and, like, if we want to crack wise, we're not bothering anybody.
Right.
If people are super invested in the show, like, we just want to sit and have a good time.
Yeah.
But we're not, like, there to tear down the show.
No.
We just want to make some jokes.
Yeah, you're just a couple of jerks.
Yeah.
Living your jerk life.
So there were multiple segments, but I think the premise of this organization, because they rebranded, this was their first live show. It was in Hollywood.
Okay.
Is that it is supposed to be OnlyFans kind of adjacent. Now, I don't think this involves
I
buttholes
get
and
it.
everything.
Only wrestling. Got it.
But you can subscribe to the wrestlers and find out what's going on storyline wise or what's going on with their.
I just read about this when I was looking for news.
Okay.
And I was confused by what it was. And I can't remember who it is that was working on it. I can't remember somebody who I was coming across. And I didn't write it down. I was like, I didn't get it. Not newsworthy, but so that's fun.
So it seems like an interesting premise for the show. We saw Tessa Blanchard was in action, so she wrestled there. And who else? Rob Van Dam was there. He spoke. Him and his lady.
Okay.
I don't know if it's in the news. No. They oddly announced that they're having a child.
Oh.
You seem more enthusiastic than Rob Van Dam.
You're still doing the news, and you didn't even have to research anything. I didn't see that in any of my findings.
Katie Forbes, I think is her name.
Okay.
His wife. So they were there. Bill Alfonso was there.
Yes. By the way, that's exactly who it was. Mike Lucas was at RVD. That's who I was reading about. But it wasn't about the baby. It was because how this is everything wrong with wrestling news cycles. Is the interview the thing that came up on like the wrestling sites that I saw was RVD talks about his future in wrestling on a podcast.
Right.
Which is by the way, every podcast every wrestler ever does ever.
Yes.
But nothing in there about the fact that he's about to be
tomorrow?
a father. Nothing in there about the fact that he's soon to be father.
Violent J from the Insane Clown Posse was there.
Alrighty.
Bill Alfonso, Charlie Haas, match of the night in my opinion.
Yeah, that's fun.
He was old school and just riled people up. And I guessed, I was guessing how many bumps he was going to take. I was right on the money. He took 5.
5 on the nose.
5 on the nose.
No more, no less.
It was great.
That's how many you get.
He had one faux pas. So he was the old guy coming in and he walked all grizzly and I just couldn't tell if he was really beat up as a person or if that was just kind of a character choice. Luke Hawks, I think is the young kid's name who he was fighting. So people were cheering Charlie because, hey, everybody knows Charlie.
Right.
They're excited to see him. And then he takes a mic and he just starts ripping into everybody.
Perfect.
And I was joking beforehand. I go like, he's going to go Trump on everybody. He borderline did because he just said, there's a large Latino crowd in the audience. And he says like, I don't want your support from a bunch of you illegals. Like, I don't need it.
Right. Sure.
And
old Zeb Coulter action
just gets everybody pissed off. And I'm like, okay, this makes sense.
Right.
He's the young kid's supposed to be the face.
Right.
He's just going to be the old guy. Then just starts storming around the ring, starts getting in people's faces, yelling at them, saying stuff. This old lady, I felt very old school. This old lady was just yelling back at him. And he's like threatening to slap her and doing stuff and pointing at her face. And the one faux pas that he did was he threatens a kick to her, but he slapped his leg when doing it. So that was a little odd.
Right. Right.
Everything else was great. He even tries to hit this young kid with a chair during the match, and she's grabbing the chairs away from him.
That's fun.
And he's not being able to hit him.
Right.
Meanwhile, security patted us on the way in
to make sure you didn't have anything.
Super intense security.
Right.
Inside the building, fucking nothing. Nobody's stopping any of this whatsoever.
Right.
So that was super fun. Main event was Brian Cage versus Chris the Masterpiece Adonis.
Okay.
There is chatter amongst us with Roseka speculating, going, I don't understand how a guy like Brian Cage can be that big. You're going to tear something. Like something's going to fall apart.
Right.
Down goes Brian Cage.
He got injured.
He got injured in the match.
Oh my
Something, I don't know what it is.
Did you will it into existence?
I didn't. Mark Roseka said it. It's his knee. It's
Hey, Mark,
his leg, something, the ankle. I'm not sure what, but he went down and no one was in a hurry to come see. I guarantee Johnny.
Was he just selling it so well that they thought it was part of it?
No, it was like him and Chris were just kind of chatting, and it was a clear like, no, it's not okay. The referee didn't really do anything. Melissa Santos, who's Brian Cage's wife, is the ring announcer. She eventually comes from where she's actually. She's on the other end of the building. She's coming over, but no people that are running the show that are walking all over the place all throughout the show come over to see what the fuck is going on. I guarantee Johnny is like fully aware, but is doing the broadcast and trying to say like, hey, everybody, hopefully we can see what's going on here and something like that. Peter Avalon's is the other commentator.
Oh, that's fun, dude.
Peter eventually, like Johnny clearly has like a, you go check.
Right.
I'll keep this going.
Yeah.
And you go check on them because they're buddies. They know each other. And then eventually stuff starts to happen. And then the broadcast clearly wraps up. Melissa Santos tries to get on the mic, doesn't really convey what's going on.
Okay.
She goes like, "Oh my God, I just can't believe this. I can't believe this." So Johnny, total pro move, was like, "Ladies and gentlemen, this is what happens when you get two athletes of the caliber of these two guys in the ring."
And he does this to the crowd.
To the crowd.
Great. Awesome.
And just saying like, accidents can happen. We were really thankful that everyone came out tonight, and we hope you had a great time at the show. We're unfortunate that this occurred.
This is the end, yeah.
But if you could please start filing out so that way Brian Cage can get to
Right.
where he needs to be without any interference.
Right. Pretty great.
Total class move.
It's a tough way to end a show.
Tough way to end a show.
Like that's he's literally devil's advocate there. The devil being the fact that people are now not going to get to see the rest of their main event.
People were very supportive.
Tough
They were
position.
applauding for Brian Cage. There was
Yeah.
no
Sure.
cynicism. There was no like,
Booing,
get
yeah.
up or what.
Right.
And so overall bizarre to see.
Yeah, that's a once in a lifetime kind of like, oh yeah, I was at the show that Brian got injured and had to leave halfway through. Yeah.
And a guy that's working currently, because you picture those types of shows in your mind. You go, oh, I was watching two old main eventers
Right. Yeah.
past their prime.
Yeah,
and one went down.
We've all seen some of those. Yeah.
But it wasn't that. It
Right.
was so just a fluke accident. And
Right.
it was you never know what you're going to see in that world of professional wrestling.
Wow.
So that's my live wrestling report.
Well, it sounds like a fun thing. Now we could skip a bunch of these news stories.
Brian Cage got injured and RVD has a baby.
Tim Redbeard in chat. Oh, Johnny, that guy needs a podcast. Okay, well, yeah, let's talk about some of the stuff as we're going on. We're going to start with, it's not starting. We're in the middle because that was fun. Now we're going to sandwich some sad stuff in the middle here.
Oh boy, sandwiches.
We'll end joyously, maybe or not. Boxing legend George Foreman passes away at 76 years old.
Yes.
Big George was a two-time heavyweight champion and Olympic gold medalist. His family announced the death in a hospital on his Instagram account. Roy Foreman, George's brother, said the cause was not known. Foreman was a huge fan of professional wrestling, citing wrestling as the reason that he wanted to learn how to fight, and wrestlers being his very first childhood heroes.
Really?
Yeah, a very good friend, known to spar with Rocky Johnson in his prime as a boxer, as well as had a very close friendship for a while with Hulk Hogan, but I don't think we should hold that against him.
Who, George Foreman did?
Yeah.
The bullshit story goes like Hogan says they had the same manager.
Yeah.
And the products that the manager was hawking for the
where
Foreman
he
grill.
turned down.
Yeah. Oh, he missed the call.
Oh, he missed the
he
call.
was out and got the.
Or else we would have had a Hogan grill instead.
That's right.
Yeah. Ah, that fucking guy.
But he was busy playing with Metallica. So he missed
yeah,
that
he
call.
was originally being the original bass player.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I thought I'd include this just because he's an icon in combat sports and obviously close friends. And
which one of his kids, George Foreman, informed that George Foreman had passed away?
I don't know. It was just on the George Foreman account, so it could have been any one of the six of them.
I feel like a wrestler needs to do that now, right?
Name their kids, just their name
over and over and over again.
I mean,
because that's lunacy.
Was that Luna Vachon's last initial? C? Lunacy.
Yeah, lunacy.
Yeah.
Lunacy, Lunadoo.
Yeah, George Foreman, icon, and definitely left. I love that there's a whole bunch of people out there who just go like the grill guy, like people who don't even know.
Yeah, the grill guy.
But that's not all. Because unfortunately, I just wanted to give this a shout out on our show here. Tragedy has struck the independent wrestling world twice in 1 week. Last week, a wrestler by the name of Vince Steele, known as the Jurassic Juggernaut, suffered a cardiac event during a match in Ridgefield Park, New Jersey, and unfortunately did not survive the event.
Holy shit.
Vince was 39. He's a New York native, in wrestling for about 20 years, and very well beloved in the Northeast independent circuit.
Had you seen him before?
When I looked it up, I recognized his face, but I was gone by that point. I don't think we ever crossed paths or anything like that.
Okay.
But I think I've just seen him in the ads for indie shows that still come across our Palskis social medias and stuff.
Sure.
But 39, cardiac event. He was a big guy, but like wrestling 20 years, just because he's a big guy doesn't mean you're unhealthy. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
Still really scary, especially because then on Saturday night, an event in Fairborn, Ohio at XVW champion, who goes by Artist Artest, whose real name is Graham Moore, collapses during his match and was rushed to the hospital where he passed away at just 30 years old.
He's just dead?
And they still don't know yet what occurred. There's still no like official word.
Oh man.
But within 1 week, 2 indie wrestlers pass. Essentially, obviously, didn't pass away in the ring, of course, but like something happens in the ring, and then they pass away very shortly after. Like, I feel like this is one of those things that I'm surprised we aren't hearing more about. Of like, what are we doing in independent wrestling to ensure safety of our talent? Or is this just like,
I think we should put John Moxley in charge of this.
oh geez Louise,
That guy knows safety. That guy is thinking.
there's nothing about that in the news, by the way. I just assumed we all saw it, and it's not it's just like, yeah, whatever. It was gross.
John Moxley's gross. Breaking
John
news.
Moxley's still crazy and gross. But yeah, I don't know. I thought we just wanted to talk about these two
That's
guys
bizarre.
just because, and
unfortunate.
both with a 3 in front of their age, so it's not like either of these men are old.
Right.
Specifically, Artis Artiste, their world champion. So clearly a guy who had a big future ahead of him.
Yeah.
Who knew? But yeah, that's it for the sad stuff. Unfortunate. Now for a little bit of joy, Mark Henry has signed a WWE Legends deal.
How'd they get him?
Which includes Mattel figures. So we got to be getting the salmon jacket. Does that already exist as a figure? I don't think it does.
I can't say for sure. I wouldn't be surprised if it does in some form, but it's the Mattel line now, compared to what it was, is still better and better all the time. So they could be doing one where it's like really precise, really good stuff.
He made the announcement via Ringside Collectibles social media account.
That's even bigger, because I was going to say.
He added the comment, "It's time to come home," is what it said on it.
He's going to work at Ringside Collectibles now?
I guess so.
I've been there. I've been to the warehouse.
I guess so.
There's room for him to walk around and do stuff.
The video from their account is like him on stage. I was wondering if it was at the event, but this was only like a day or two ago, so I feel like it would have been weeks ago.
Oh, at Mattel?
Yeah. Or no, at Toy Fair, rather.
At the Mattel booth.
But
Because they had a lot of stuff behind the scenes where Orange Cassidy had gone to Jazzwares.
Interesting.
And Mattel, I don't know what happened, but yeah, there were showings of wrestling stuff there, but it was behind closed doors.
The video is him like on stage, or not him on stage. It's just a stage. It's a crowd of people, and like it slowly pulls around, and it just shows him, and then that's how they announce it. It was fun.
Mark Henry,
somebody's here to get their ass whooped.
The wig split.
The wig split?
Yeah, that's one of the lyrics. Somebody's gonna get their wig split.
I never knew that.
That's the Academy Award winning.
Oh, I got it.
Theme song. That's exciting.
Mark Henry with a Legends deal. He deserves it. Just bring him home. The Ringside Collectibles, of course.
Sure, he made a lot of money having to be on TV and not wear pants, so that's pretty great. Letting us know what time it was. And now they're gonna put him to work. Probably he's gonna have to do way more.
You think we're gonna see him on pre-shows and stuff like that at PLEs?
Yeah, probably.
I like him. Honestly, I would rather him be doing commentary than Booker, to be perfectly honest with you. Get him in NXT instead.
I only heard him do a little bit on the disastrous 4-man booth.
I don't think I ever heard him do. Oh, yeah, of course.
When it was, what was that? Collision Rampage, when it first started, and it was basically 3 guys with crazy energy and Mark Henry. He's like, I got a different speed and tone. Like, yeah, shut up, Mark Henry. This is Excalibur and Jericho yelling at the top of their lungs. Like, all right, no good.
Oh man, what a clothesline!
Now what
right. Homicide has retired. Nobody retires in the wrestling. Well, Homicide's taking a crack at it. Homicide retired, winning his final bout, teaming with Bull James against Mike Santana and Alpha Jr. at an Outlaw wrestling event in Brooklyn last Thursday. After the match, the locker room came out to show their support. He previously announced his retirement via an emotional Facebook post, revealing that doctors has discovered a brain cyst.
Oh.
Yeah. He explained that the brain cyst has been present for several months and that he's been experiencing worsening vision and speech. Apparently, I might have one
Dr.
as well.
Tamina said so.
His career spanning like 32 years saw him compete for almost every major wrestling promotion except for the WWE.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I mean,
I like the guy.
I do too.
He was one of the guys who was in he was in the indies that I was working at in the early 2000s, and so I crossed paths with him a lot. And he was always a delightful fellow.
Sure. And it's no knock on Homicide being in WWE. It's just
No.
like, hi, my name's Homicide.
Right.
Cool.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
What else you got?
Right. But yeah, he was one of those people who, like, as much as at that era, I hated like the machismo characters that like infested indie wrestling in the early 2000s, where like everybody was like a gangster. Everybody was all about like how tough you are in the streets, and it was just like it was everybody's character that nobody set each other apart. He was one of those people who he was a little bit of comedy in what he was doing, just like a little bit, and that was
and also
stood
the
out.
Sincerity.
Yes,
where you
100%,
go,
right.
Well, yeah, I believe this guy.
Yeah, exactly, sure. But he was actually really. I always remember him being like kind of soft, like
everybody says, like he was.
Real life.
He's so nice.
Yeah, and he was funny, and I remember him just being like really nice to the ring crew and like really nice to the young people, and not everybody was from that group,
right?
So,
it's that blend of what you want, where it's kind of the antithesis of what Bubba Ray is, right?
Sure.
Where this guy protects wrestling. He loves wrestling. Homicide protects it, loves it, loves to be around it, loves to talk about it, loves to be involved in it, keeps it as real as he can.
Right.
And if you're in it or you're a fan, he's nice to you because he knows what a special thing this is.
Right.
And it just sounds like the best elements of everything.
Yeah.
And just a sweet guy, which is really cool.
Well, I hope that that is something he can live with. I know that's a scary thing, of course.
Do you live with a brain cyst, or do you get rid of it?
I'm assuming that at some point they'll have to get rid. I don't know.
Is that where the headband's?
It's a cyst. It's not a tumor.
All right, Arnold.
So I hate how much that got me. I didn't even hear it. You're a dick. Hey, here's more news. At NWA Hard Times 5 on March 22nd, Tom Latimer successfully defended the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship against Carson Drake. Afterwards, ECW and WWE legend Rhino makes an appearance, confronting Latimer, setting up a match for the world title at NWA Crockett Cup on May 17th.
I'd like to watch that.
The event will be held at 2300 Arena, formerly known as the ECW Arena.
Oh, shit.
The last time that Rhino held this specific title was 20 years ago.
In TNA?
In TNA, yep, when he was in TNA.
That's gnarly.
But that's fun. 20 years later to be... I mean, this is like a fun thing. It definitely feels like they're in the arena. You get an ECW guy. I haven't seen Rhino wrestle recently. I don't know whether he can go or not. Like the last time I saw him wrestle was when he had that short stint in NXT, I think.
Okay.
And he at that point he was like, he clearly had a little bit less of the athleticism he had years prior, but he was still fun to watch.
Right.
And his moveset is that where it's like the guy's shaped like
he's a brick shit house.
Yeah, it's like, exactly. He's just a square with a head.
Mm-hmm. He's got these tiny little arms, but it doesn't matter. He's just gonna run into you.
Yeah,
Latimer keeps getting better and better.
Yeah. That's a fun match. I feel like that's definitely an interest piquer for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know where you watch it. I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't either. I could guess, but I think they've been doing, I want to say like Triller or one of those.
Right.
That I always think is some knockoff of Shudder. It's like, no, it's not horror. It's something else. Just a word that wasn't copyrighted.
Wasn't taken yet. That you didn't have to remove the E and just add the R after a D.
Yeah.
Shudder. Thriller. But yeah, that's fun. I mean, I'm also just like, I don't think he's going to win the title. I think this is just somebody for Latimer to beat. But also, I like that he's getting a title match for the NWA title.
And it's nice for fans who are in the area to go see Rhino again and do all that. Like, that's great.
And there'll be a ton of ECW chants, and the arena will be lively and fun. This isn't entirely news, but I just wanted to bring it up in case you hadn't seen the video, because we talked about when Punk came back, what we wanted what some of our dream matches were and some of our plans. Well, one of them happened at a live event, untelevised, in Belfast. CM Punk faced Gunther.
No.
There's clips of it on social media, on WWE social media, as well as on like people's stuff. There's one moment that I saw that really made me laugh.
Can we watch it?
Punk has no.
I will endure the pain.
No, Punk has Gunther up on his shoulders to do a go to sleep.
Wow.
Gunther fights out and then just gives Punk a huge chop.
A huge one?
Huge
or
chop.
A regular Gunther chop?
Sure. Good point. He barely hits him, according to Gunther. Punk drops like a fucking sack of bricks and then is like laughing at how much it hurts. And it's sort of like a close up of his face. And he looks at the ref and he goes, and he like taps out. He goes like he's tapping out. Like, I don't want that to happen again. Very funny moment. But I love that they're
Was that
working.
the match?
I don't know. That's what I saw of it. That's the clip that I saw.
I don't know if that
was it. He tapped out. Ref ring the bell.
Like, I'm fine with this.
But I
That's
kind of
amazing.
like knowing that they're working in front of a live crowd. They're getting a little bit of chemistry, a little bit of rapport, maybe, because I want that to be a big deal. I want
Sure.
that to be I know that there's people right now that are complaining that the Gunther J match has lost all steam because it seems like Gunther's not. This is what the 1% are reading.
I'm not reacting to you.
Sure, of course.
I'm
That's what
reacting
I'm
to
hearing.
the internet of like, oh man, this match
You
has lost
see
all
it.
steam.
Well,
okay,
because apparently Gunther's just not being presented. Again, I haven't watched the
I have.
entirety of the shows.
He's there.
Yeah,
he's
great.
fucking with Jey Uso constantly.
Perfect.
He shows up from behind and chokes him out.
Let's get with it. Oh,
We've
Tim
also
Redbeard.
got how many weeks until Mania, and we've dealt with the Cena thing, so that one
Right.
takes kind of a back. It's fine.
Right. Yeah. Tim Redbeard says that Gil shared that clip that I was talking about in the Discord, so you can see it there. You can't see it there.
I could.
You could, but it'll just hurt.
I could do it.
I've explained it to you.
All right.
You can picture his face.
Yeah, but I want to see it.
In the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer, everybody's favorite, most credible newsletter in the world, Dave Meltzer reports that Sean Waltman is working with WWE.
Was he not?
I don't know. Watching videos for ID, for the WWE ID, that thing that they're doing where they're just being like, we're gonna go ahead and give you a WWE name in the independents. So
Wait,
that way,
So Sean Waltman's watching people and then naming them?
God, I hope I hope that's part of his task, is
Okay.
coming up with the names. It's just, I think the idea is that he's watching tape and it's quoted as saying he's giving them advice on where they should improve and what they should keep. So
Get rid of the tassels.
Sean Waltman,
Good for the click getting jobs, you know?
here's the thing. I don't dislike him. When I was a kid and he was the 1-2-3 kid and he beat fucking Razor Ramon, I was like, this is my favorite wrestler, right? And then later, like, I enjoyed stories that had him in it. I never saw him as like this incredible wrestler. I saw him as like an athletic guy.
Yeah.
But when I look back at his history, I can't think of him in the ring. I think of him outside of the ring. I think of him not outside the ring. I think of him like
waiting to be
segments. Yeah.
tagged. Come on.
Waiting for a hot tag.
Come on.
I gotta do the Bronco Buster. Is that what he called it?
Yeah.
Okay. Like, I hates Ford Broncos.
Oh,
Fucking hates Ford Broncos.
OJ ruined him for Xbox.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, he's a WWE Hall of Famer. Like, he's probably
multiple
times over,
what
maybe
is it?
DX and NWO for some reason.
Yeah. Original member. 6.
But I mean, I guess there's
He-
worse
he-
people you could be taking that WWE could be giving.
Yeah, like personal relationship aside with the dude, that's not great, but it's not horrible, it's just weird.
Yeah, it was weird.
I've never been a big fan of his as a talent,
Right.
but I am fully aware that it's probably in the same realm of like a Christian Cage, right? Where like we love him and we're aware of like
Right.
wrestlers love Christian Cage and go like, he's amazing, he does all these things. I know that's the same said for Sean Waltman, like that. Amongst wrestlers, he's amazing to work with. He's innovative. He comes up with ideas. Like, his shit makes sense. He was doing martial arts stuff early on before a lot of other people were. His agility, like, there's all this stuff, and clearly, like, people get along with him because he's been around for fucking ever,
Right.
and worked everywhere. So whatever issues and all that stuff aside, it's like clearly the mind is there. He's a guy that can see it and knows it. So while it doesn't click with me, no pun intended,
Right.
I understand it.
Right.
But just when you just hear like Triple H going like, yeah, I gave Shawn Michaels this job and Road Dogg's got this job and Sean Waltman's got this job. I go, yeah, I hope it extends outside of your van pretty soon.
Right.
And I know there are other people doing stuff, but how many other people are there in the world of wrestling that could do these jobs as well? But
And
you hire who you know, right? Like of course.
also, like, talk about somebody who's worked with everybody. Like, I bet you he's got a great mind for the business that maybe we don't get to see.
Totally.
I do remember back when I could tolerate listening to Jericho. Remember I think his episode of Talk is Jericho the first time he was on. I remember being like, oh, he's got a really fascinating story. Like Xbox, whatever you want to call him, Xbox? Literally, whatever you want to call him.
Yeah.
X-Pac himself, his story and his journey is actually kind of fascinating and interesting, and like the ups and downs of his own tale is like, I could see why I don't know, I have respect for his tale.
Mhm.
But yeah, I don't, whenever he's in something, I'm just like, and he's there, which I feel bad about.
It was the X-Pac
Yeah.
go away heat, back in the day where it's like, fucking X-Pac,
Right.
But I don't know. There was people love him. I don't deny it. It's just not for me. But hey, he's doing a job where he's scouting talent and doing that. I'm like, great, fine, go
Right.
for it. Keep the guy paid.
Yeah. Give him some money. And at this point I guess Nash isn't working. Nash isn't doing anything with WWE. He's the only one. Is there any member of the Clique who's not working? Because Road Dogg was a producer, or is still a producer.
Is still
Right.
Billy
Gunn. Right.
He's got a job.
Right. Yeah.
But Nash is doing his podcast, and I know he gets films every so often. So
Sure. But I just meant like for WWE, like the only Clique member.
yeah, I don't think he's under
Right.
contract doing
Right.
anything for them.
Well, it's too bad because I'd love to hear his opinion on the 2025 Slammy Awards.
Oh shit!
WWE's fan-driven award show is set to return. It will be broadcast live from WWE World at WrestleMania on Sunday, April 20th on WWE's social media platforms.
Is that the morning of WrestleMania?
I don't know. Is that when, what day is WrestleMania? Should we look it up?
Yes. And by
God.
we, I mean you.
Let's see here. WrestleMania. Do. It's a Survivor Series. No, it's not. It's a WrestleMania.
Oh, it's a Linda McMahon's theme song. is what it is.
WrestleMania Saturday, April 19th and Sunday, April 20th. So it's the morning of night 2.
Okay.
Unless it's going to be that night. Maybe it's the exact same time. Maybe
No,
while
later
WrestleMania-
that night. You know what that is?
No.
The roast of WrestleMania.
Oh, I don't even want to talk about it.
You could be on the panel.
No thanks.
Can you do a character?
Yeah, an ass kissing comic. In any case, yes, it'll be broadcast on their social media that day. And all the categories can be voted on at WWE.com.
Did you vote already?
No, not yet.
Do you have the categories?
Yes. But before we get to them, I'll end the little piece of the news part of this is that they're going to be presented by Big E and Kathy Kelly. So they'll be the hosts of it. That's kind of fun, at least. I feel bad that Big E's.
I feel like
But-
she should really, commit that if it's Big E,
Right.
she should be Big K. Maybe
Right.
bulk up for the event.
Right.
I
Big
gotta
K-
be Kathy.
Well, wait, no,
I gotta
'cause
be my
he's-
own thing.
Well, no, she would be Big C because his last name is Big E Langston. E is short for his first name.
Oh, okay.
So she would be Big C Kelly.
That's fine.
Or maybe they call her Little C. She's kind of tall, though. She's a tall woman, I think, right?
Yeah, she's on the taller side.
All right. There are a lot of categories. And let me tell you, if you think there are too many nominees for Best Picture of the Year at the Oscars, then boy, oh boy, you should see how many nominees there are for some of these fucking categories.
I can't.
Completely inconsistent. Some categories have 2 or 3 nominees. Some have 5. Some have 14. It's so stupid. Just narrow it down. I don't understand why they're doing this. It's so bad. All right, let's start with Female Superstar of the Year.
Okay, so this is the
Maybe we should go
Slammy
backwards.
Awards 2025. No, let's start with you mentioned this one. We'll start with this one.
Okay. And then I'll go backwards because I realized they
Female-
put the biggest ones up front. So we should.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. We'll start with female superstar of the year. There are seven nominees.
7 females.
Yes.
So the 8th one's a real piece of shit.
Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, Bailey, Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton, Chelsea Green, and Io Sky. Those are our female superstar of the year nominees.
Okay.
I
mean,
who would you vote for?
it's only between 2 in my mind.
Is it only between Liv and Rhea?
Yep.
Same. Hard same.
Liv has blown me away.
To me, I think it's Liv. I would vote for Liv because I think that Rhea was gone for a little bit, and whether or not that was helpful or not, while she was gone, Liv was the star of that division.
I just love Rhea though, unconditionally,
Same.
and Liv has the Liv.
Right.
You make me mad, but then it's but
because you're good
like
at it. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's why I think I'd vote Rhea for that reason.
Well, let me ask you a question about the fact that they're fan choice. Is it just like heels are never going to win these things? Because there are a lot of wrestling fans out there who won't be able to analyze that bias the way that you and I just did and go, but I like to root for the good people.
But the Slammies always have the potential of the face goes up and wins it, and then the heel goes like, "What the hell?"
Right.
I was better than you,
Right,
and yeah. Or also they just ignore it and they go.
Do we think these are
the
actually
heel one.
fan? Do we think these are actually fan driven? Do we think it's real?
It's no Taboo Tuesday.
Okay.
I mean,
all right.
Owen Hart won them back in the day, right? So
yeah. Let's go back to the bottom. We're gonna go to the bottom and then we'll work our way
Okay.
up because I realize that they're probably bigger up top. Breakout superstar of the year: Braun Breaker, Lyra Valkyria, Penta, Oba Femi, I don't know, Gulia, Tiffany Stratton.
Julie.
I know I did a bit.
Okay.
Tiffany Stratton, Jacob Fatu, Chelsea Green, Stephanie Vaquer. 9 names.
9. Stephanie Valkyria and Ty Valkyria is too confusing. Stop it.
It was Lyra Valkyria, not Tyra.
What the fuck? I can't.
You're thinking of Taya Valkyrie.
I know it's all too much.
I mean, I think this is a toss up between two, and I apologize for sounding sexist, but I think it's between Jacob and Braun Breaker, Fatu and Breaker, as far as breakout of the year.
I also feel like
I would put Tiffany.
Didn't Braun Breaker wasn't he already around, or am I totally wrong?
No, I think this was his first year in the main roster.
Okay, that's tough because that I Show Speed clip is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And then Jacob Fatu is just also amazing.
I will say this. Jacob has a mystique. We've talked about that. He's got like a little bit of a mystique that makes him feel like a bigger deal than everybody else on the list.
Basically,
but that doesn't mean that they're doing
Homicide was
bad.
his sides. Like he would have worked for WWE and been called like Tony
100%.
Tony
Murder.
Tony Murder Randall.
Tony Kill Guy. I mean, Tiffany Stratton, I know is like, people are really liking her. I'm not getting it.
It's
what
the
everybody else is getting.
entertainment. Like
Yeah.
she's fun to watch. But it's not the end all be all.
Right. I don't know. I think I gotta vote Jacob for my own personal interest. I think Braun.
That's a coin flip.
Braun could be like, yeah.
I fucking love watching. But he is
So you
the
agree
guy
with
that,
me though? It's between those two.
Yeah,
Out of the list.
I totally agree. Yeah, I'd flip a coin.
Okay, social star of the year. 2 people.
2.
2. Chelsea Green or Drew McIntyre. Drew.
On it's the sideshow of hot ones where it was him and Sheamus like in the versus version.
Yeah, right. The truth or dab or one of those many
Super
things.
fucking funny. I love him and his cat. Like
right.
And this is granted, this is what I would do.
I mean, he made like
nominees.
t-shirts of like memes and shit like that.
All the shit with Punk.
Yeah, exactly.
Talking shit. Chelsea's very fun, no question about it. The issue that I have is, and what I've seen, because I would gladly, before I vote, I will watch more stuff. If there's other stuff to watch that isn't the trend that I don't care for in social media overall, is taking other people's audio.
Yes.
And then essentially lip syncing yourself in it.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, but that's not you.
Yeah,
you didn't go through this thing, or
TikTok has ruined comedy, period.
No.
But yes, no, I get it.
So that doesn't, I get it that it's amusing.
Right.
And she's joining in on something, but it's not original. I'm all for original content or the person being themselves.
Yeah. I grow Drew just because Drew turned what he was doing on social media into part of the main event.
Yeah.
And that I think to me is what takes the edge. Whereas Chelsea's just really, really, really fun.
Yeah. Very fun.
Yeah. Alrighty. The what the fuck moment of the year. Which, by the way, I thought what the fuck moment of the year. Oh no, I'm thinking of OMG moment. Never mind. I was gonna say I think
totally
think
different.
it was
This is the Mark Maron moment.
What the fuck? Okay, so this is where somebody sits down, just kind of gets to know you, and then complains and then yells at their cats.
We used to have beef like 35 years ago.
Yeah. All right. That's so many nominees. R-Truth calls Triple H Ciampa. Kevin Owens' car interviews. Chelsea Green goes into the dumpster. Dominic Mysterio in the shark cage. I Show Speed with Logan Paul at WrestleMania. LA Knight in Logan Paul's pool. R-Truth wrestles John Cena. Rabid noises from Tamatanga. Jacob Fatu says, I love you, Solo. Or the Wyatt 6 debut. 10 nominees for this category. And they're all so different. Like,
there are many of these that I don't qualify as
right.
What the fuck?
Right, exactly.
I love Braun Breaker
the I Show
spearing.
Speed, yeah.
I Show Speed.
But they don't say
That's
that.
not what the fuck.
And they
That's
also don't
OMG.
They also don't say Braun Breaker spearing I Show Speed. They say that he's just there with Logan Paul. It's some of these are really weird. I don't know.
So
I almost go rabid noises from Tamatanga just because that makes me go, what the fuck?
I say the Wyatt 6 debut.
Wyatt 6 debut.
Because
that's pretty, you know what?
I saw what everybody else saw with Chad Gable murdered and what the fuck?
Yeah, I agree. R-Truth calling Triple H Ciampa was funny, and only because I know the story, because he did R-Truth did an interview about it where he was just like, I didn't tell him, and I kind of know Triple H's funny spots, and I know what he thinks is funny, and he promised me he wouldn't laugh. Like he challenged me that I couldn't make him laugh, and he did, and so that's why I like that. It's funny, but
yeah. No, what the fuck?
Not what the fuck.
If it's a funniest moment of the year, something like that, like, yeah, sure, contender.
Right. Let's go NXT Superstar of the Year.
Okay.
Obafemi, Roxanne Perez, Trick Williams, Ethan Page, Julia, Kalani Jordan.
Obafemi.
Only 6, and Obafemi's your vote.
Yeah.
I haven't watched enough or any of it to vote, so that's
rad.
I'll just go with you.
Ethan Page is certainly up there,
right?
But Obafemi's got. I've seen Ethan Page, so that's hard to be like.
Let's go rivalry of the year.
I think I'm done. I think I'm good.
CM Punk and Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes. Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley. Damian Priest and Finn Balor. I think some of these we could cut off of the list. Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes. Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton. Bloodline versus Bloodline. I mean, it's Punk and McIntyre a million times, but like, this is one of those things where I'm
there's great rivalries amongst this.
There are.
If that wasn't on there, I would vote for Liv and Rhea over, I think, almost all of them. Like, I think that's my number 2. Because Bloodline versus Bloodline was cool, but it was short-lived.
Right.
It's not what Liv and Rhea are.
And Roman and Cody isn't a rivalry without all the other players. So like that, like Punk and Drew just.
And I'm just
Punk
sour because I fucking went and he lost.
That is fair.
And it's like, oh yeah, no, well, I didn't go to the one where he won, so fuck that shit. I'm not voting for that. Yeah, it's Drew and Punk was just couldn't miss a second of television for that.
Right. All right, let's keep going because God, we're not even a quarter of the way through these fucking categories. Tag team of the year.
By the way, if the chat's also voting, I'd love to know what their votes are for any of these categories and say what it is, so that way we know.
Mike Lucas does think Drew is the social media person of the year. Okay, what did I just say? Tag team of the year. 10 nominees for tag team. Like, can we just find some consistency? I think we should narrow it down to 8. Pick 8 people for every category, or 8 things or events or whatever.
Yeah, because you can make a tournament out of 8.
Everybody loves that. All right, tag team of the year. DIY, Awesome Truth, A-Town Under, Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair, the Motor City Machine Guns, the Bloodline, the War Raiders, the Judgment Day, the Street Profits, Liv Morgan, and Raquel Rodriguez.
I go Bianca and Jade.
I think Bianca and Jade, and then I think the War Raiders, because they successfully survived, I kind of go, those are my two picks.
And they made themselves three-dimensional.
That's what I meant. When they survived what they were. Like they survived being the Viking experience.
They did a great job, no doubt. And I think they could potentially be it next year.
Right.
I think overall from what felt like hey, we're just going to throw Bianca and Jade together. And then Jade's going to turn on her in a month. Feel of what that was. And then in the press conferences and everything, it's like, no. We're here. We're going to be a dominant tag team. And their chemistry was there and they were just exciting and it was really cool. And I think they just had the strongest of the year. And I was really impressed by the two of them.
Yeah. I think I second that. There is an omission from this. Let me rephrase that.
Submission.
There's an omission from this that proves how something isn't getting the attention that it deserves. And that is the fact that the year that the New Day turned heel, they are not on this list for Tag Team of the Year. That's kind of insane.
That's tricky because so much of the year they lost and they're breaking up.
And they're literally, they've only fought the NWO since they've turned. That's it. They've not fought anybody else.
NWO?
I'm sorry.
Oh my God. Sean Waldman's doing a lot.
All of the click needs to come back. No, they've only fought the LWO since they've been back or since they've been heels. They haven't fought anybody else.
I think it's they can rise up. This can be a Slammy moment where they say, and the commentators can be like, well, you've only won matches in the past 2 months.
Right.
Maybe next year, guys.
Well, we've gone from tag teams to faction. Faction of the year.
Do they actually say
only
faction
5
means 3 or more members?
No.
And
the fact that the Bloodline was part of the tag team of the year. It's interesting because they are also in the faction. Oh no, they're not. Oh yes, they are. Sorry. Okay, faction of the year. Only 5.
Jacob and Solo, I assume.
No, I thought it was Tama and
Jacob?
And no, the other one.
No, the other guy never wrestles anymore.
Didn't they become champions together?
The blind guy, the guy with the eye patch.
No, that's you.
Oh, that's right. The guy with the eye patch who always fucks everything up. I don't think he ever wrestles.
Tonga Kid, Tama Tonga, and
Tonga Loa.
Oh my God, Tonga Loa. Thank you. All right. Well, in any case, here are the 5. There were 10 tag teams nominated, but only 5 factions. OG Bloodline, Judgment Day, New Bloodline, American Made, and Damage Control.
Hold on. I've got too much Bloodline in my head. Okay, so this is faction, and one more time, please.
OG Bloodline.
Okay.
Judgment Day, New Bloodline, American Made, and Damage Control. Damage, CTRL capitalized, I should specify.
New Bloodline.
I mean, New Bloodline has to be the faction here because the OG Bloodline was only a faction for the little bit of time leading up to War
Roman
Games.
Came back, yeah. American Made.
Judgment Day is a question mark. Who's even in the fucking faction anymore? Because isn't this the year that everything imploded with them? How could they be the faction of the year?
No, it's just Damien that's out. They added Raquel. Yeah, she's out, but it's been everybody else.
Finn is now at odds with them.
Yeah, that's now, but the Slammies have been announced.
Right, that's fair.
But it's JD, it's all those guys. I enjoy some of what they've done, but it's not been super impressive. American Made, I always want to and then I just haven't seen enough.
I haven't seen enough of them. That's is it just Gable 4. And the Creed brothers? No. Oh, and what's her face? Right. Whose name?
Tonga Loa.
Yeah, I gotta go New Bloodline because
it's Jacob Fatu.
Yeah,
you got the dunce in there that fucks everything up. Tonga Loa, Sankara Loa. But
oh my God. Alrighty. For some reason, there are 12 nominees for. They're so random for OMG moment of the year.
Oh, so now we got an OMG. So we had some OMG moments in the last category of the what the fuck.
Yeah.
So I bet we're gonna get some what the fucks in the OMGs.
Probably.
Okay.
Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns match finish at WrestleMania.
Oh, okay. That we just go, oh my God, look at all them people showing up.
Dominic Mysterio turning on Rhea Ripley with Liv Morgan at SummerSlam.
Oh, that's pretty, oh my God.
That's pretty good. Kevin turning on Orton and Cody Rhodes in October.
Okay.
New Day turning on Big E and Raw. Tiffany Stratton's Money in the Bank cash-in on Nia Jax at SmackDown.
That's just a cash in. I ain't like that's just
Damian Priest's Money in the Bank cash-in on Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania.
that's more about Punk fucking with him, in my opinion.
Wyatt's 6 debut at Raw. It's in both
Can't have both.
categories.
Can't have both. It's more what the fuck than oh my god.
Here you go. Braun Breaker spearing I Show Speed at the Royal Rumble.
Okay.
Bronson Reed hitting a tsunami on Braun Strowman onto a car.
That was cool.
But not, yeah, also the fact that he landed on his head on the concrete moments prior, and nobody talks about that. John Cena turning on Cody Rhodes at Elimination Chamber.
Ooh.
Roman Reigns returning at SummerSlam. Io Sky beating Rhea Ripley to become the Women's World Champion on Raw. I think this is strictly down to...
why the fuck did you do that?
This is strictly down to heel turns and Braun Breaker murdering a streamer. Those are the only categories for me.
Yeah.
Here. Honestly, the match finishes and the cash-ins, like you said, those are just expected wrestling things.
Yeah, if you're not having that reaction with those,
Right.
then
They're not working.
right.
But I think
Dominic is up there, but it's not as big.
not as big as New Day, John Cena. Those are the two big turns.
because those are the two. I brought this up before. Where Kofi was the face forever,
Right.
longer than Cena,
Right.
and then turned
Right.
along with Xavier.
Right.
That was unexpected because
On
you
a
thought,
third guy who we all... Yeah.
yeah,
right.
you think, oh, Xavier's gonna turn and Kofi and him are gonna fight. Like that was the expected.
Also, it was a turn without any physical things that occurred because of Big E. And
Mhm.
so that's actually like kind of fascinating
yes,
because we just had to sit in the words. We didn't then have to watch Big E get nut kicked or
barbershop windowed.
Right, exactly. So it's between those two and then Braun Breaker murdering a fucking streamer.
And that one's crazy awesome, but it's not as epic as those as far as the
And Wyatt 6 debut won us for the last category. It's in this category and it shouldn't be because it's not an oh my god, it's a what the fuck.
yeah.
I don't know. I think I kind of have to go John Cena. I think it's the biggest. Oh my God, I can't believe they did this. I think John Cena might win that for me.
Yeah. New Day is it's a close second, but if the Cena thing didn't exist, Cena thing is crazy. It's just crazy.
It's more crazy. Do you want to know what it is? I feel like the New Day one was needed. So that's why it earns a little bit less of an oh my God than John Cena, who did not need to do this in any capacity. I think that's why it
New Day
beats it.
New Day certainly could have been the biggest moment. But John Cena and all the players and how it played out in his face.
Right.
It's oh my God. That's fucking nuts.
Alrighty. Most memorable entrance. 12 nominees.
Most memorable entrance. I guarantee amongst the two of us, we're not going to remember all 12. Maybe half.
I don't think I'm going to remember two of them. Okay, here we go. Ready?
Okay.
Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. His song played. I don't know. Was he wearing the skull helmet maybe? Let's see if we can remember him as we go. I think he was wearing his skull thing with the wings.
Didn't he wear that the year before?
Yeah, maybe. That's the thing. No idea.
I haven't been as in tune this year, so I don't remember. It doesn't make a lasting memory of this year.
Don't remember this. Jey Uso on Raw Netflix debut with Travis Scott.
Oh yeah, when Travis Scott
when he was holding his toy title again.
When he was smoking weed.
Oh, yeah. I don't think I realized that was the same guy who punched Cody. I thought they were. I didn't realize.
I didn't either until right now.
I forget. Sure. Yeah, I forget who these people are at the moment.
But I remember that there was a guy who had a vape pen,
right,
and did that. I'm like, okay, I guess that's fine now. But that's not a
Roman Reigns at WrestleMania.
I know it takes for fucking ever.
The Rock at WrestleMania. Talk about taking forever. Bailey at WrestleMania. I don't remember these entrances.
She dressed like an Egyptian woman.
Wasn't that the last year?
No, that was this. Yeah, it was this past year.
Randy Orton at Bash in Berlin.
That was pretty nuts.
I don't remember it. Was that them singing?
Yeah.
Okay, that just happened.
Yeah. With
okay,
Gunther.
that was last week or something like that.
No.
No.
Against
Okay.
Gunther.
I remember.
Their match.
I remember. Yep.
That crowd just lost their fucking minds for Orton.
Seth Rollins at WrestleMania with the Philadelphia Mummers Band.
I skip Seth Rollins entrances all the time. So
Sami Zayn in Montreal with Jey Uso.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That was a good one. Sami Zayn at WrestleMania with Kevin Owens and Chad Gable.
Yeah.
Logan Paul at SummerSlam with MGK. Don't remember it.
Vaguely remember it.
This one might be my favorite just because it stuck with me. Dominic Mysterio at Bad Blood with Liv in the Lowrider.
Yeah,
something about them doing the Lowrider, doing the old Latino Heat thing that was fun. And then the last nominee, Drew McIntyre at Clash at the Castle. I just don't remember them enough.
Do a real fast rundown again.
Okay,
because I forget a lot of the earlier ones.
Really, I need to blow my nose. I don't have tissue anywhere. I apologize. Do I have a napkin somewhere? Okay, really quickly. Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. Jey Uso at Raw debut on Netflix with Travis Scott. Roman Reigns at Mania. The Rock at Mania. Bayley at Mania. Randy Orton at Bash in Berlin. Rollins at Mania with the Philadelphia Mummers Band. Sami Zayn in Montreal with Jey Uso. Sami Zayn at WrestleMania with Kevin Owens and Chad Gable. Logan Paul at SummerSlam with MGK. Dominic Mysterio at Bad Blood with Liv in the Lowrider. Drew McIntyre at Clash of the Castle.
And it's most memorable.
It just says most memorable entrance. Yep.
So the one that I remember the most it's a tie. It's The Rock at WrestleMania and Randy Orton at Bash Merlin.
All right.
Rock has enough things. I go Randy Orton.
I go Orton or I go Dominic Mysterio because, again, if it's saying memorable, he only did it once.
Well, he also did the lowrider at Mania when he fought his father for Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Wait, he came in? Okay, never mind. All right. Yep, there we go. There's my brain. Okay, let's continue. So there were 7 nominees for Female Superstar of the Year.
Right.
So it would only make sense that there are 8 nominees for Male Superstar of the Year.
Why?
Oh, by the way, Suicide in the chat. Nice to see you, Suicide. Says that should have AJ in France.
Yeah, that one too. That was good.
That's
a good call.
Take
one of them Sammys away.
All right, Male Superstar of the Year.
Okay.
Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, Gunther, CM Punk, Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre, Jey Uso, Seth Rollins. This is sort of like an elimination game for me, I think.
Easy to eliminate too right off the bat.
I'm eliminating Damian Priest.
Yeah.
I'm eliminating Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
I'm eliminating CM Punk. He just wasn't around for most of the year.
Yeah, he was.
But he was still doing. No, he was on TV. You're right.
Yeah, he was fucking lipping off.
Right. I like that I put them down as if those were the order at which this was each guy was a finger. It's not even close to where
That's
they were.
where they live.
Like I would remember.
You can make a case for any of these guys, really. Like the fact that Jey Uso a year ago had the fucking 4-finger stinker of a match against his brother.
Yeah.
And then went on to being...
To actually becoming what his moniker that he gave himself was of Main Event Jay.
Yeah. To have the crowds lose their fucking shit with him coming out and him controlling the room and social media.
Right.
People getting their cats to fucking yeet and all kinds of stuff.
I actually think Roman's eliminated for a lack of iconic
of the year.
Yeah. I think Cody's eliminated because he was better last year leading up to winning the title. I
understand your point.
As far as
but Cody's carried it.
You're not
Cody's
wrong.
been great.
Gunther
is
the
guy.
Not this year. He's iconic. He's great.
Gunther's also
the best, but
the guy,
right.
But he's the evil guy.
Yeah.
So it's like you mentioned earlier with, do you really give the heel that credit?
Yeah.
You certainly can because you want to see him dethroned by Jey Uso or whoever that was going to fight him for the title.
Right.
But Gunther we're getting used to Gunther because he always delivers.
Yeah.
He's always
You're right.
Top notch.
Yeah, this is tough. I think you're right though. Like Jey Uso makes the most sense as far as like the difference of where they were last year to now. If it's, and maybe that's not the category, but like if we're really thinking about
if he's the superstar of the year,
right? Because it's not breakout superstar, but like literally the star of this year. I think you're right. I think
him and Punk are real close.
Yeah, I think
Drew too for just being a fucking horrible human being.
Drew's been great.
Like being
I feel like here's the thing is I feel like if it's Drew, it could be Punk, and if it's Punk, it could be Drew.
Yeah. That's why they get the rivalry of the year.
Yeah.
Any of those guys are a solid case. Cody's a solid case. Gunther's a solid case. I think we're right in the people we eliminated because it's like, look, they weren't terrible.
No, but I mean, they were, they were added to the nominees, the 13 nominees.
But to the credit of what the booking has been, the matches they've had, and Jay's just
a shocking Rumble victory, which we don't really get a lot of.
No, he's just a juggernaut of a force right now. I don't know what the fuck he's saying half the time. He's saying, "Oh, you got to
yeet." Y-E-E-T. It's just I think the kids.
But then the 4 words of the that stuff,
right?
And I'm into it. I don't understand it. I'm totally disassociated, and I know I'm old, and I go, yeah, but I like it. It reaches me, right? Like it's working on arenas everywhere across the globe. The merch, all that. It's amazing to see, and it's infectious. It's totally infectious that you can't not watch it. So he's having Michael Cole fucking yeeting.
Right.
It's cool.
Well,
I think I would vote Jay.
Yeah, I agree.
He's not my favorite, but I'd vote for it.
Well, there were 7 nominees for Rivalry of the Year.
Yes.
So it only makes sense that there are 11 nominees for Match of the Year.
Are 3 of these Drew and Punk?
Let's just read the list.
Okay.
Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania.
No.
CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre, Hell in a Cell. Roman Reigns and The Rock versus Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley at SummerSlam. Damian Priest versus Gunther at SummerSlam.
No.
I think that was the one where he fell off of the ropes, right? Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles at Backlash.
Oh, I do love that one a lot. Shit.
The 2025 Men's War Game match. Bloodline versus Bloodline. Bayley versus Io Sky at WrestleMania. Sammy versus Gunther at Mania. Gunther versus Orton at Bash at the Beach.
What?
I'm sorry, Bash in Berlin. Sorry. I just saw the Bash in
They had another match at the beach? That's cool.
Talk about 2 guys that I want to see just hanging around at the beach. Seth Rollins versus Punk on the Raw Netflix premiere. There's a lot of really good matches in here.
Totally.
Also, I'm curious to do a little bit of math here. Cody is 1, 2, 3 matches. So he's in 3 of the nominations, right?
Yeah.
Punk is in 1, 2, 3 of them as well. I'm just curious if there's like a, Gunther.
Seth is in 2 or 3.
Seth versus
at least 2.
Seth is in just the 2.
Okay, just 2. Gunther is in
1, 2, 3. I was curious if anybody had the edge, but it seems like a lot of these people are
the cope.
Yeah. So never mind. So a lot of people are tied with 3. Roman Reigns is also in 3 of them.
I got 3 in my mind.
No, Reigns is only in 2 of them.
I got 3 in my mind that are kind of all at equal level that I'm trying to decipher which one I'd vote for.
If I was just like a gut instinct, like if I just pulled this up and I clicked, I would go Punk and Drew and Hell in a Cell because it's the one that I remember the most. It's one that I remember that feeling of going like, holy shit, this was so good.
Yeah. Equally
so, I remember really liking the Netflix debut one with Rollins and Punk.
It's good. Kieran Culkin.
And then Gunther and Orton.
I fucking love the 2 of them so much.
God, I think those are my 3 front runners.
So my 3 front runners, 2 of the same, not the Punk and Rollins Netflix one. I had to be reminded of it, but AJ and Cody, I love that match.
Yeah.
It doesn't jump to mind when I think of it, but when I think of it, I go, oh, right. They go crazy. Their chemistry is outstanding. I also just miss seeing AJ.
Right.
But I think if I'm just going to vote for one, I think I'd vote for Gunther and Orton. The other ones I love. It's just picking in the moment.
Right. Really great point from Tim Redbeard. I think based off of the list for Match of the Year, the male superstar of the year probably leans more towards Cody or Punk, right? There's only one match in this whole list that has Jey Uso in it.
Yeah.
And how is it crazy that the guy that we go, yeah, that's superstar of the year, is only in one option for the match of the year, and it's neither one that we would pick, which is the War Games match.
Well, also they've not mentioned, because this isn't, there's not one Braun Breaker.
Great point.
Anything in any
Great
of this.
point.
And I think he said, maybe if you really looked at a list of matches, like maybe it's not up there, but you could, in a list like this, you could have thrown one of them in there.
Yeah.
You could have thrown something with him. And
I mean, there's already 11 nominees by that, 13 or 14 of them. Yeah.
Or with him and Jey Uso.
Right.
They had their intercontinental back and forth.
The IC, yeah.
So, and Jay has fought Gunther. None of those made the list. So it's tricky in that sense, but I totally understand Tim Redbeard's point, and it's totally valid. But some of the people have been beyond exceptional this year. Like you were an A
good year
student
for wrestling,
and you did all this extra credit.
Right.
Holy shit, why?
Right. Well, there you have it. The 2025 Slammy Award nominees and categories. If you want to vote, head on over to WWE.com. I don't know when voting closes. I'm assuming it's still open for quite a while.
April 1st at 11:59.
Because the whole thing is a fool's joke. That'll do it for news. Scott Narver, before we wrap this up, you want to take a hotline call?
Hell yeah.
I forgot to get this ready. Let's see here.
We're doing the real time listening?
Yeah, let's do it. Why not?
Man, we are the most interactive show. 747-666-5606. You can call our hotline. It's open 24 hours, 7 days a week. You can call anytime. If you heard this list and you're like, wait, you should have voted for this. Oh, they should have included this person. How did you guys not vote for Damian Priest for every single thing? Call and make your case.
All right, let's see what Hotline has in store, assuming that this works.
Hey, hot stuff. It's Cousin Paul from Long Island. So, first thing first, Scott, why would Liu Kang make a world different than the one he knew, right? Why would he make Johnny Cage anything other than a movie star? What is he going to make Johnny Cage a pediatrician? That's ridiculous. So Liu Kang recreated a world in which he already knew people. That's one. Also, what the heck? I'm waiting on a David Lopan DLC. Scott, talk to somebody at NetherRealm Studios and let's get David Lopan as a DLC character for Mortal Kombat. So if you can get on that as soon as possible, that would be great. Here's my third point. I don't know if I've been making points or not, but here's the third one. I'm tired of Cody. I'm tired of Gunther. I'm tired of Cody looking like Homelander and then going on my dad, remember my dad? My dad, remember? And then I'll fight hard and he's always bruised and I'm so tired of that. Find a new gear. It's tone deaf. I don't like it. Gunther's, I feel dull. He's always like, I'm better than you. You'll never compete with me. I'm elite. All right, we got it. What else? What else you got? So I'm excited for John Cena to take the title off of Cody. Maybe that will reinvigorate Cody's character. I don't know. But, something. I wish Brock Lesnar wasn't a piece of shit, because that would be nice to see John Cena versus Brock. I don't know. Maybe over Femi? That would be pretty cool. Like a Haas in NXT coming up and challenging John Cena? That would be pretty alright. I don't know. I'm just very upset that you thought Mortal Kombat 1 was boring. Unbelievable.
All right, my cousin Paul from Long Island coming in real hot. Tim Redbeard in the chat says, Cousin Paulie shouldn't drunk dial the hotline call anymore.
God, he turned his Frank Rizzo.
Listen, that's what we sound
up.
like. That's our people. That's what we sound like. That's how we actually sound when we talk. We get a little excited, okay?
Turned it up to 11 there. I'm sorry that Liu Kang has CTE and could only make a world that he knew.
I didn't get a lot of that, but
had to redo it again and just in a world that he know. Because what could you make Johnny Cage? I don't know. Carl Urban,
a pediatrician, apparently.
Yeah, he could do that. He could be a fucking karate instructor for children. Anything
like a fistfoot way.
Good Lord. Yeah, I'm sorry that I and the rest of the world thought that game sucks.
Oh.
Except for the DLC, which is outstanding, and all the fucking microtransaction that game is trying to bleed everybody dry from.
Who was he trying to get you to add to the DLC?
David Lopan.
Who's that?
David
Jesus,
Lopan?
he was Jesus Christ. David.
No,
his real name.
That's
Jesus
Willem,
Christ's real name was David Lopan.
No, his real name is Willem Dafoe.
Oh no, it's actually Dafoe, but he just
David Lopan
sounded better.
from Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh, okay, right.
James Hong's still alive.
Yes.
It could happen.
Right.
Yeah.
God damn! I wish I didn't ask that. Paul is gonna get so upset with me that I forgot that guy's name. That's like his favorite movie. It's gonna be so
It's
upset.
like my favorite movie.
I know it is. You guys should be friends.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't invited to his fucking wedding. So what's that about, Paul? Why wasn't I went out to the East Coast. You didn't invite me to a little party afterwards. We could have had some of the cake. I bet so you got some of that cake left over in the freezer.
Could have had a hot dog.
Could have had a hot dog. We could have got a super duper weenie. You ever been to super duper weenie? We could have got it in Connecticut. Gee whiz. All right, geez. I'm glad that also cousin Paul is bored with Gunther and Cody, but a guy who's going to freshen things up is the guy who's had the same character for 20 fucking... No, John Cena.
Oh, right.
There's some fresh blood that's interesting.
Well, he's a bad guy now.
I know, but he says he's got to wear the same outfit and the same clothes.
That is really funny.
And the same music and all that. So, I just like that.
Yeah,
Cody's outfit. He's sick of Cody's outfit.
I'm hard disagree
Bring
on
in
that.
John Cena's outfit.
Hard disagree.
Jorts and a t-shirt.
Paulie, I love you, but hard disagree on your hot takes at the end there.
Well, don't worry. I think at least one of these fellas is going to be dethroned. So
right, assumptions.
Yeah, you'll have a Yeet champion.
747
somebody else.
666-5606. That's some of the Pro Wrestling Palskis hotline. Thanks for tuning in to the Pro Wrestling Palskis program today. Please consider becoming a patron if you're listening to this in the main feed, the pod feed, and you're like, hey, I listened to you guys for a long time or a short time. $5 a month all year. $5 gets you everything. One price gets you everything. Access to the entire library over on Patreon.
You get more from subscribing to a year from us than you will if you got everything in Mortal Kombat 1.
You probably would.
That's way more money.
Yes, a lot more hours.
And you'll be unsatisfied because you'll be like, it's the same fucking thing, but everybody's not the same.
Watch along Wednesdays, video versions now. We got old series, new series, the pre-shows every couple weeks. Scott and I just have like a chat about what's going on in the world and our lives, and those are all available unedited and uncensored and all.
You can hear about my interaction with Matt Cardona.
Yeah, this week you hear all about Matt Cardona flagging down Scott Narver and being like, "Hey, aren't you from Pro Wrestling Palskis?" And yeah, that'll do it. We got to thank our current Patreon Palskis. Adrian Avina, AJ0314, Alex Pierce, Andrea Beeler, Gilbert Short, current PWP champ Masked Llama, Mexican Stallion, Mickey Bell, Mike Lucas, Suicide, Tim Redbeard, Tom Hader, and Tony Griggs. Thanks to each and every one of you for continued support of the program. Please consider joining that small but mighty list of names. And we'll also rush through your names at the end of a podcast in a future episode.
Yeah.
Anything to add before we get out of here?
Oh, man, I'm excited for next week's episode. The casting couch.
It is the 20-year anniversary of the first episode of The American Office. So we figured, why not do one of our ye old casting calls?
Casting call, that's it. I always call it the casting couch. I get upset.
For The American Office. So we'll do that next week.
So
Scott's got plans.
We're recasting the American version of The Office with wrestlers. And these are fun. I love when we do these casting calls.
It'll be very fun. I think that'll do it for the program. Scott Arbor?
Yep.
Thanks for being here. Thanks for coming to the program. It's nice having you this week. We'll see. We'll ask people whether or not,
be here next week
whether or not they want you back. Yeah, we'll ask the listeners.
All right.
And we'll see how that goes. Thanks to those who joined us in the live stream. Once again, next week, PWP Championship for the month of April. You want to get in while the getting's good. And we will see you all then. Thanks for joining us. It's always a blast hanging out with you, Pro Wrestling Palskis.
Hey, thanks for listening to Dragon Wagon Radio. If you're enjoying this show, check out DragonWagonShop.com and get yourself some sweet merch while supporting your favorite indie podcast network. That's DragonWagonShop.com.
It's Dragon Wagon.